We were just talking a little bit earlier about Avengers Doomsday, and it seems right now like, all due respect to a lot of great movies that are lined up between now and next Christmas, including The Odyssey and a lot of others. It kind of feels like fandom right now is on a countdown clock, just building up to Avengers Doomsday. It's really going to be the movie that tells us if the MCU is truly back. Now, listen, after the disappointment of Captain America Brave New World, which I did not like very much, I think they're on a 2-win streak right now. I loved Thunderbolts, and I quite enjoyed Fantastic Four.
Yep.
So it's been a while since I saw 2 MCU movies in a row that I liked, and I really did. But, we got the Spider-Man movie coming, but everybody's like, feels like, and I don't think this is an exaggeration or an overreaction, Rob, that kind of the future of the MCU is kind of hinging on this Doomsday movie. And everybody's kind of counting down to it. And now we've got our first kind of official synopsis here of Doomsday, which is, we see headlines like this: Avengers Doomsday first official synopsis reveals Doctor Doom's evil plan for the MCU. Okay, now look, before we jump down into the actual synopsis, it is a very, very short snippet. It was revealed at that same expo that's going on that we got our first look at the Doom artwork, Rob. You remember we talked about that last week. And it's very short, but I gotta say, even for a short, little, tiny snippet, it actually reveals a bunch. Here it is. Doctor Doom has officially, this is put out by Marvel. Doctor Doom has officially arrived in the MCU. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the entire multiverse. Let me read that again, because while this is short, I think there's actually a lot in here to dig into. Doctor Doom has officially arrived in the MCU. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the entire multiverse. Okay. Rob, couple of big things to me. Number one, we learned a bit about the nature of Doctor Doom in this. The fact that he is going to be, because that's been a big question mark. There's been nothing definitive. Is he going to be is Doctor Doom basically going to be Iron Man? It's going to be his suit and all the technology is in his suit. Is he going to be more magic-based, which we've seen him be? And now we know he is going to be the amalgamation of both. He is going to be a powerful magic user, and he's going to have Tony Stark level intellect when it comes to technology and blending mystic and magic in with technology. Right there is a huge bit of info that we just never really knew for sure about how they were going to handle Doctor Doom. And I would even say it gives us a eureka moment about how do you get somebody into the MCU that poses a bigger threat or a bigger problem to the Avengers and the world than Thanos did. Well, how about somebody who is a master of sorcery and a master of all technology? That's a problem. That's it. By the way, that is still one right there. That is one of my all-time favorite comic book panels.
So good.
Of all time. Dr. Doom just one punch, just right into Thanos and rips out his spine and his skull like a predator. Anyway, so that's the first big thing, right? Them giving us this, we now understand this nature of thing. But let's go back to it again. As we look at it here, this villain will unleash a cascading crisis across the entire multiverse. For people who don't know the comic run that this is based on, and Rob, I think you can verify this, that statement taken at face value kind of represents a major departure from the storyline in the comics, right? Like, because correct me where I'm wrong, Rob, but like in the comics, Doom is just another person who's kind of dealing with and reacting to the crisis in his way, and
yes,
to end up as God Emperor Doom. He's not the one who causes the multiversal problem in the comic story. And this one statement seems to suggest, again, I'm going to jump back to it here again. The way they word it is that Doom will unleash a cascading crisis across the multiverse. So I think that is major. So Rob, 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lines. Doctor Doom is officially arrived in the MCU. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the entire multiverse. This 4-line statement, I think, is giving us more tangible information and insight into this upcoming movie than almost anything else that we've seen or heard so far, and it's deceptively packed.
Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right.
Rob, you read this little thing. What's jumping out to you, and what kind of speculative conclusions are you coming to as a result of it?
Well, the last time I heard the term cascading crisis, my mom was talking about my romantic life in my 20s. So it was good to see it in a different perspective here. But I think, like you said, I think the idea that Doom, like, I don't think he caused a lot of the multiverse stuff, but he sees an opportunity. And I think across the multiverse, he's making his move, and he's like, I'm going to take advantage of this. And he's going to be, like you said, there is a cascading crisis. Realities are coming to an end, and Doom's grabbing his surfboard, and he is going to go on to wave after wave of whatever multiverse he can get into. And he can get up to some shenanigans because he's got a plan. He's got a plan, because if they follow the modern Secret Wars, he's going to figure some stuff out, and he's an opportunist. And I think this is exciting for me because, look, I like a villain who's a planner. I like planners, schemer, and I like that because, look, the best villains are the villains, watching their best laid plans go awry. And I'm sure that is going to happen, and I can't wait to see it. I can't wait. Against my better judgment, John, the fanboy in me is really excited to see this movie. Really excited. Now,
well, let me get your commentary on that first part of the statement, though. That, like, they've just confirmed this iteration of Doom is going to be a master of magic and a master of technology. Is that just a trivial detail, or is it, like, I'm kind of feeling that's a major thing? I don't know. What do you think about that little reveal, and how do you think it's going to manifest itself in the movie?
Oh, I think it's going to be huge. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that panel you just showed, if we see that in the film. I mean, what better way to establish a villain than to see him take out Thanos or some iteration of Thanos? But I think the fact that he's already, unless we see him acquire the ability to wield magic in this, but that's what makes this character in God Emperor Doom so formidable, is that you're the perfect distillation of incredible tech. It's like having Wanda and Tony Stark in one. And I can't wait for this. I mean, I'm just trying to. The big question that I have is, how do you explain Tony Stark's resemblance to Victor Von Doom? Or do they? Like, are they going to play some cheeky game where they're going to make him a variant? Like, I don't know. Or they just don't address it at all. Like, I'm hoping that at the end of Spider-Man Brand New Day, the post-credit scene, as we've talked about this before, like, Peter Parker opens the door and he's like, Mr. Stark, what are you doing here? And he's like, kid, I ain't Mr. Stark, or something like that. And then Dr. Doom grabs Spider-Man and that's the end, or something. bling, and they disappear in a portal. Who knows? But I don't know if they're going to address it or play with it. I just know I'm excited, and I just know that I'm going to buy that hot toy of Doctor Doom.
Yeah, listen, there's one of our viewers wrote something, and to set it up, I've always thought like one of the most interesting, like, listen, some movies need a good straight up mustache twirling villain, right? Some movies really need that. But I also get really attracted to villains that don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves as the protagonist.
Yes.
They see themselves as the hero in the story, right? And one of our viewers in the live chat, I lost it. I'm so sorry for this, but one of our viewers mentioned Dr. Doom Victor Von Doom epitomizes the dude who thinks he's right, the dude who thinks he's the good guy. He's in a world gone mad. He's the one sane guy, which I think is pretty key to understanding him. And I think that just makes him the idea of a fascinating villain. Also, we've had a lot of conversations, Rob, about the idea of, in Avengers Infinity War, they start off by setting up Thanos for the audience by showing him beating up Hulk, the ultimate nuclear option in the MCU, right? And we've talked about who should Doom kind of make his statement with. And some people said Hulk again, and I'm like, you can't really do Hulk because you already did that with Thanos. But going back to that artwork that Jonathan brought up, maybe it is Thanos. Maybe him taking out Thanos, another universe's version of Thanos, is Dr. Doom's statement to start off this new thing. And by the way, I also kind of want to mention this. I've said this before, but I'll say again, Rob, because you brought up this whole thing. Do they mention why he looks like Tony? My favorite theory is still this one, is that in another version of the universe, Tony Stark's, the guy we now know as Tony Stark, say his grandparents immigrated from some European country. I don't know, maybe called Latveria, when Tony's dad was still a young kid. And their family name used to be Von Doom. And like many immigrants, when they came over, they kind of changed their names to blend in more with their new society. And once they came over, Tony Stark's grandfather changed the family name to just Stark. Right? Well, what if in that universe,
Doom wouldn't be a good name for an immigrant, John?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm
now,
Mr. Doom.
What if in that universe, this other universe, Tony Stark's grandfather never did leave Latveria? He stayed there. The family kept the name Von Doom. And he had his son, and then that son had the grandson who would become known, like to us in our universe, as Tony Stark, but was born and was named Victor and became what he became there. So I am still a big fan of that whole idea that, oh yeah, same universe, just the one difference is Tony's grandfather or great-grandfather never left Latveria, and the family stayed there and kept their original family name, Von Doom. I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but then, everybody's saying, well, that kind of makes him a Tony variant. Nah, not to me. To me, that makes Tony a Victor variant.
Right.
And
right.
That's how I myself would present it. I don't know, Rob, what do you think about that?
I think, look, I like that theory or some variation on that. That makes sense to me because that shows the different. I always love road less traveled, sliding doors. I love that kind of idea. And in some universe, you see how fate intervenes or fate doesn't intervene and things change. And or someone's fate was different in one universe than another. And those kinds of stories fascinate me. But they're gonna have to do some heavy lifting and explain that. I mean, that could be the opening of your film. You could get a montage that explains that in 10 minutes. And you go through
5 minutes.
Or the alternate life or whatever, and you see what's going on. I mean, it's really interesting. We talked about The Long Walk. The title of The Long Walk doesn't come in until like 20 minutes into the movie. The title, like, boom. Like, I could see this having some really long, like, if you go and watch the James Bond movie, The World Is Not Enough, I think up until that movie, which the opening title sequence is like 14 minutes, I think No Time to Die is actually longer. But a 14-minute or 20-minute opening sequence before the title even appears, explaining and setting up who Doom is, could be very cool.
Oh, I agree. And I think that's the way they're probably going to handle it. I think you're right. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? It is a very small 4-line mini synopsis, but I think there's a lot of information in that little mini synopsis for us to unpack, and it kind of gives us some insight into the movie more than we've had any official word on up till now. What did you take out of it? Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.